is going viral. I hate to use that term, but it's really popular. I showed it to all the North American GBCs today.
Wow.
And, they were very impressed. We're going to send it all over the world, along with a package of a few other, items. I'll show you what I mean later. But it was excellent what you did, the video making stuff.
It's all your grace and inspiration, Maharaj.
Good work, good work. There's an angel over your shoulder, by the way. Hare Krishna.
It's your reflection.
Hare Krishna, everybody. Sorry, I think I interrupted you, Shraddha. What were you saying?
Oh, I was asking you that you want to start with Nadia Nagare today?
Yeah, let's do that. We need a little Nadia Nagari in our life.
No? That is for sure. So
yeah, this is the way to actually become happy. Is the names of Krishna have immediate effect. There are many different kinds of medicine in the world that you have to take and wait. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't work. But the name of Krishna is always effective. What to speak of the names of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? It's something inconceivable. In fact, it's mentioned in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that the mercy of Lord Chaitanya works automatically. Even if you're not aware of it, and even if you weren't trying for it, it works because because nobody's better than Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He's Krishna, but then he's Radha and Krishna combined. He's Krishna as a devotee. So that's the best. Okay.
Hey, Prabhu, can I ask a question real quick?
Dayanidhi, Hare Krishna, our hero, who's saving the lives of the cows and all the devotees. Yes,
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
My great pleasure, Prabhu, my great pleasure.
It's amazing.
I wanted to ask you, during the song, should we keep it on mute? Because it seems like a few times when I've joined kirtans, it's a bit hectic when everyone's singing. It's hard to sort of focus. So what's the protocol?
Yeah, everyone can stay on mute except for Avantika. She'll play the harmonium. It just gives, it doesn't interrupt anything. So, but the singing, yeah, you can mute for the singing part because it just doesn't match.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Okay,
we've been looking into technologies where we can actually sync up, but we haven't found anything that actually works that well.
Okay.
Thanks for asking. So
yeah, and I also put that participants cannot unmute themselves, so that takes care of that. But I'm not able to. Yeah. So Avantika, I have unmuted you.
Well, that's that then. Dipapati Rutudipa Maheshwar Sharumo Dadruma Rudra Toparishwar Navakanda Ranganatha Jana Vijivana Jagai Madai Adi Devi Tatarana Naryan Nagari Nitai Niche Niche Gaire Naryan Nagari Nitai Niche Niche Gaire Nagara Kirtana Simha Kaji Udarana Shudana Mapacharaka Bhakta Kiharana Narayani Kripa Sindhu Jivarani Anta Kadama Paduya Dandi Bhakta Dushahanta Shri Krishna Chaitanya Chandra Bharati Tarana Parivraj Shiramuni Kala Pavana Naryan Nagari Nitai Niche Niche Gaire Naryan Nagari Nitai Niche Niche Gaire Ambulinga Bhuvanesha Kopatesha Pati Kir Chor Gopal Darshana Sukhiyati Nirdandi Sannyasi Sarva Bhauma Kupamoy Swananda Aswanandi Sarva Sukashroy Purata Sundara Vasudeva Chanakarta Ramananda Sakabata Kula Keshaharta Naryan Nagari Nitai Niche Niche Gaire Naryan Nagari Nitai Niche Niche Gaire Buddha Jain Mayavadi Kutarka Kandana Dakshina Pavana Bhakti Grantha Udarana Alala Darshanandi Ratha Granartaka Gajapati Trana Devananda Udaraka Puliya Prakashi Dushta Pradu Yartran Rupa Sanatana Bandhu Sarva Jiva Pran Naryan Nagari Nitai Niche Niche Gaire Naryan Nagari Nitai Niche Niche Gaire Vrindavana Nanda Mukti Balabhadra Shangi Yavana Udari Bhakta Pala Virarangi Kashibasi Sannyasi Udari Prema Data Markata Vairagi Dandi Achanda Vachata Bhaktera Gauravakari Bhakta Pranadhana Haridas Raghunath Swarupa Jivan Naryan Nagari Nitai Niche Niche Gaire Naryan Nagari Nitai Niche Niche Bhakati Vinod Godarang Papaire Naryan Nagari Nitai Niche Niche Gaire Naryan Nagari Nitai Niche Jaya Goran Nitai Goran Nitai Goran Nitai Jaya Goran Nitai Goran Nitai Goran Nitai Goran Nitai Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Shri Harinam Mahamantra ki.
Jai.
Harinam Prabhu ki.
Jai.
Gaura Premanande.
Hari Hari Bo.
Ichai Gaura Hari Bo.
Hari Bol,
Oh, Hari Bo.
Hari Bol.
Jai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari.
என்னது? I'll get to it a little later. 8:30.
Okay, if you have
So 9 to 9:30 meeting also got to be on.
if you're having separate meetings, now
Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam
Nice and safe in his room. Rather.
Swayam Rupa Kadakmayam Dadati Swa Padantikam Adadana Shridam Dantar Idam Dache Puna Puna.
I'm bringing it up, Maharaj. I was just muting some of the noisy lines here.
Okay,
And so just give me a second here.
I'll start over so everyone can.
Okay. And this is number 2, right?
Yes.
Okay. It's coming up.
Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Vidhitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadahmayam Dadati Swapadantikam Adadhanastridam Danteradidam Yache Puna Puna Shriman Rupa Padamboja Dhuli Syam Janma Janmani Vandeham Shri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tang Sajivam Sadvaitam Sadvatutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha Namashishtam Manamapi Shachiputram Atra Swarupam Shri Rupam Tasyagrajam Urupurim Maturim Goshtavatim Radha Kundam Girivadamoho Radhika Madhavasham Prapto Yasya Pratita Kripaya Shri Gurum Tam Natosmi. Hey Guru Gyanada Dinabando Swaranda Data Korunaika Sindo Vrindavana Sina Hitavatar Prasita Radha Pranaya Prachara. Hey Dinabando Korunaika Sindo Kuru Prasadam Mai Manda Mudhe Laksha Parade Bahupapagade Pada Padme Stu Matishya Krishne Prata Shima Navadvipe Dvi Netram Dvi Bujam Gurum Varabhaya Pradam Shantam Smaretandam Apurvakam Tvam Gopika Visharavestana Yanti Kesi Sevadi Karani Guru Nijapada Padme Dasyam Pradaya Kurumam Rajakana Neshri Ratangri Sevana Rasinim Sukinim Sukabdao Shri Guru Paramananda Premananda Palaprad Rajananda Pradhananda Sivayama Niyojaya Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Tinamine Shri Varshabhana Videvi Daitaya Kripabdaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Dayane Prabhave Namaha Madhuryo Jvala Premadya Shri Rupanuga Bhaktida Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Sri Murtaye Dinatarine Rupanuga Virudhapa Siddhanta Dvanta Harine Namo Gora Kishoraya Sakshad Vairagya Murtaye Vipralambhara Sambodhe Padambujayate Namaha Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Sakchirananda Namine Gora Shakti Swarupaya Rupanuga Varayate Gora Virvava Bomestam Nirdesha Sajana Priya Vaishnava Sarva Boma Shri Jagannathaya Te Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Goratushe Namaha Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktiham Hey Krishna Karuna Sindho Hutina Bando Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Jayatam Suratau Pangur Mama Manda Matergati Matsarvasva Padambo Jau Radha Madana Mohano Divya Vrindaranya Kalpa Durmada Srimad Ratnagara Singhasanastau Srimad Radha Shila Govinda Devau Prishtali Bi Sevya Manu Smarami Sriman Rasarasaram Pivam Shivata Tatastita Karshan Venu Swanir Gopir Gopinatha Shriyestunaha 18 Thakur Godayaki Karyachina Atmasad 18 Nera Charan Vandon Tine Moranad Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vande Nandavardastrinam Padarinam Abhikshnasha Yasam Harigato Gitam Punati Bhuvanatrayam. Did we?
Yeah, I think something has gone wrong with the master template here.
Okay. Hantaya Madra Balahari Rasavaryo Yadrama Krishna Charanashvarasha Pramodaha Manam Tanoti Sahago Ganayostayo Yatpaniya Suyavasakandana Kandamulai.
I'll just go into the display mode.
Vrindayai Tulsi Devyai Priyayai Keshavasya Vishnu Bhakti Prade Devi Satyavachai Namo Namaha Shri Nishinga Jai Nishinga Jai Jai Nishinga Prahlada Desha Jaya Padma Mukha Padma Bringa Yada Yada Hi Dharmasya Glanir Bhavati Bharata Abhutanam Dharmasya Tadatmanam Srajamyaham Paritranaya Sadhunam Vinashaya Chaduskritam Dharmasam Stapanartaya Sambhavami Yuge Yuge Manmana Bhavamad Bhakto Madhyaji Mam Namaskuru Mami Vaishyasi Yuktaivam Matmanam Parayanaha Sarvadharman Parityaja Mamekam Sharanam Raja Ahang Tang Sarvapapibhyo Mukshayisham Bimasuchaha Shru Shru Shro Shradhanasya Vasudeva Kataruchi Syan Mahat Sevaya Vipra Punyatirtha Nishavanad Shrinvatam Sakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridyantaksto Hibadrani Vidunoti Suhrit Satam Nashta Praeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyutama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Rajastamo Bhava Kamaloba Dayaschaye Chaita Iter Anavidham Stitam Sattve Prasidati Evam Prasanna Manaso Bhagavad Bhakti Yogataha Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam Mukta Sangasya Jayate Vidyate Raya Grantish Chichante Sarva Samshaya Shiante Chasya Karmani Drishta Evat Manishvare Malayai Karishe Bijaropan Shravana Kirtana Jale Kareshe Chan Tahan Vistarita Hoy Pali Prema Pal Ihan Mali Sheche Nitya Shravanadi Jal Vairagya Vijanija Bhakti Yoga Shiksharta Meka Purushat Purana Shri Krishna Chaitanya Shariradhari Krapambudir Yastamaham Prapadye Kala Nashtam Bhakti Yogam Nijamya Pradushkartum Krishna Chaitanya Nama Avirbhutastasya Padaravinde Gadham Katham Liyatam Chitabringa Ajanulambita Bujo Kanakavadato Samkirtanai Kapitoro Kamalaya Taksho Vishwambarao Dvijavarao Yugatarma Palo Vande Jagat Priyakaro Karunavataro Matsamo Nasti Papatma Naparadhi Nakashchana Parihare Pilajja Me Kimbruve Purushottama Yavatinam Yata Yuni Yunam Cha Yuvata Yata Mano Piramate Tadvan Mano Meramatan Twayi Umaus Kalita Padanam Pumir Evam Valambanam Twayi Chata Paradanam Tom Meva Shararam Prabho Govinda Balabe Radhe Prataye Twamaham Sada Twadiyam Iti Janatu Govindo Mam Twaya Saha Radhe Vrindavanadishe Karunamritavahani Kripaya Nijapadabja Dasyam Mayam Pradiyatam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Go Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Did Giriraj Maharaj do the Japa Circle International tonight?
I don't know, Maharaj. I didn't check.
Maharaj, he did give the.
Yeah.
Who's that?
Avantika.
Did you watch it?
No, I didn't get to watch it, but I did hear about it.
It's a big night for Japa Circle International.
Yeah.
Giriraj Maharaj was there. Thank you, Avantika. I'm going to read to you a little bit from the Bhagavatam, and then I'm going to make a couple of various points, and then we're going to have some questions and answers. So if you have good questions, please let me know. And if you have bad questions, let me know, and I'll give you $100. But I have to check if I have $100 in my desk. Yeah. So see if you can win something. This is from Srimad-Bhagavatam, 8th canto, 5th chapter, text number 47. This is a situation in which the demigods are appealing to the Lord, and they're offering beautiful prayers. Actually, Brahmaji is offering prayers on behalf of the demigods, even though they can't see him. They're at Shweta Dweep, and Lord Brahma is offering prayers to the Lord. And this is because the demigods had lost their position in the universe, and they're trying to get it back. So they went to the Lord. Actually, they went to Brahma, and Brahma went to the milk ocean, as he did before Krishna appeared in the world. And they offered various prayers. So this one, 47, is about hard work. Klesha bhura yalpasarani karmani vipalaniva dehinam vishayartanam na tataivar pitam twayi. Karmis are always anxious to accumulate wealth for their sense gratification, but for that purpose, they must work very hard. Yet, even though they work hard, the results are not satisfying. Indeed, sometimes their work results only in frustration. But devotees who have dedicated their lives to the service of the Lord can achieve substantial results without working very hard. These results exceed the devotees' expectations. Krishna, you want to hear it again? Say yes, just shake your head. I knew you would. Okay.
Yeah.
Karmis are always anxious to accumulate wealth for their sense gratification, but for that purpose, they must work very hard. Yet, even though they work hard, the results are not very satisfying. Indeed, they're not satisfying. Indeed, sometimes their work results only in frustration. But devotees who have dedicated their lives to the service of the Lord can achieve substantial results without working very hard. These results exceed the devotees' expectations. Haribol. Purport, we can practically see how the devotees who have dedicated their lives for the service of the Lord in the Krishna consciousness movement are getting immense opportunities for the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead without working very hard. The Krishna consciousness movement actually started with only 40 rupees, but now it has more than 40 crores worth of property. And all this opulence has been achieved within 8 or 10 years. No karmi can expect to improve his business so swiftly. And besides that, whatever a karmi acquires is temporary and sometimes frustrating. In Krishna consciousness, however, everything is encouraging and improving. The Krishna consciousness movement is not very popular with the karmis because this movement recommends that one refrain from illicit sex, meat eating, gambling, and intoxication. These are restrictions that karmis very much dislike. Nonetheless, in the presence of so many enemies, this movement is progressing, going forward without impediments. If the devotees continue to spread this movement, dedicating life and soul to the lotus feet of Krishna, no one will be able to check it. The movement will go forward without limits. Chant Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So, there's a way in which the Bhagavatam tells us that when we are born, it's already fixed up how much happiness or distress we're going to get in this life. And Narada says, Tasyaiva hetu prayate kovido na labhyate yad brahmatam upariyada talabhyate dukavarangyata sukham kalena sarvatra kapira ramhasa. In due course of time, kalena sarvatra kapira ramhasa, things come of their own accord according to one's previous work. And that's fixed up very firmly when one takes on a human body. And so the hard work that one does to try to enjoy more in the material world is a mistake for a couple of reasons. One is that we can never really enjoy the material world. And the second is we can't get more enjoyment than we're allotted anyway. However, Narada says that if you work hard for Krishna consciousness, then you can expand your horizons. You can go back to the spiritual world, and whatever you do is not lost. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Neha bikramanashosti pratyavayo navidite swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Even a little bit of endeavor and advancement in devotional service saves one from the most dangerous type of fear, which is losing the opportunity for human life and falling back down into the lower species. Krishna preserves whatever advancement a devotee makes, and even if you don't make it completely in this lifetime, then he says that in the next lifetime or the next creation, whenever it may be, you take up where you left off before. Whereas whatever material advancement we make is rubbed off the board and we have to start all over again in the next life. Or the karma comes forward and we get what's called mixed happiness. Interestingly, I read in the Yoga Sutras the other day where Patanjali says that happiness is even worse than misery, because then you become really attached to it and you try for it more and more. And the happiness in the material world is something where we try to control it. Although happiness comes of its own accord, there's a way that the materialistic mind thinks, let me bottle it up and keep it and control the experience. For devotees, whether happiness or distress comes, they accept that that comes from their past activities, and now they're getting whatever was due to them. And they're not so much concerned with it because they're concerned with serving Krishna. So Prabhupada ends this by saying Hare Krishna. And this is a kind of an exaltation because he puts a exclamation mark on the end. And this is because Krishna is always victorious. Whatever we do in Krishna consciousness will always have success, even if we don't see it immediately. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtan, that you're going to be victorious by practicing Krishna consciousness. So invest yourself in those things that make you spiritually rich. In the 18th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Jagya, Dana, Tapa. These are three things that he said you should never give up, even if you become a great yogi, a great soul, because he said they purify even the great souls. Yagya means doing work to satisfy Krishna, and tapa means restraining the senses in order to control the mind and to work dutifully and not get waylaid by sense gratification or the churnings of the mind. And dana, which means be liberal in giving in charity. Jagda dana tama, jagda dana tapa. These three things one should never give up, Krishna says, because they purify even the great souls. One of the characteristics of the material world is that it's very sticky. As soon as we get purified, it's just like when you clean your room. I don't know if you've noticed this, but if you're staying at home a lot, the room tends to get messed up a lot faster because we're living in them 24 hours a day. So even as we move about this world, we perform good activities, we still constantly are being assailed by the material nature. So we have to stay purified. And it's a daily affair, starting over again and working, for keeping the purity in our minds, in our bodies. Physically, we have to stay pure, and also mentally. And we have to stay connected spiritually very strongly every day. It's a small price to pay, and it's a very short lifetime compared to the reward that one gets. The Shastras all say this. This is the guidance for human beings. For instance, the Shri Upanishad says, Ishavasyam idang sarvam yat kincha jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bunjita magrada kasasudanam. Basically, you should understand that everything here in this world is already owned. It's already controlled by somebody else. It's meant for their pleasure, not for ours. It can be leased to us for a little while, where we take a body on lease. And also we get some facility. Tena tyaktena bhunjita means there's some facility given to us by Krishna's arrangement through material nature. And you can accept that and take whatever you need to maintain a healthy life. But tena tyaktena bhunjita magradha kasasiddhanam, but don't try to covet more. Magradha. Don't try to hold on to more than you need. And what do you need? Bhagavatam says, Kama sandendriya pritir labo jivete yavata, jivasya tattva jignasya, narto yasche karmabi. Do you need just enough so you can stay, as they say in Japan, genki. Genki means healthy, enlivened, and your senses are strong. But you don't need to pile it on. First of all, it doesn't help. It's frustrating trying to hold on to things that you can't hold on to. This is actually the root cause of suffering, according to all the Shastras, is thirsting for the non-permanent. And then the Sri Ishopanishad says, Kurvane ha karmani jijivishekshatam samaha evam twainanyate tostina karma lipyate nare. Now it says that if you think like this, that everything belongs to God, and I'm just leasing it out and I'm using it for his pleasure in his service, and you're in such a good situation, says Sri Ishopanishad, you can expect to live 100 years. That's what you get in this Kali Yuga, 100 years. You can expect to live for 100 years without lipyate. Lipyate really means without getting smeared by the material energy. You know, have you ever been smeared? You put on a really nice clothes, fresh, and all of a sudden you get smeared. Something gets on you. It's not going to be easy to get out, and ruins your whole day. And so lipyate means that which sticks to you here in the material world. Lipyate. So kurvan eveha karmani jijivishekshatam samaha evam twainanyate tosti na karma lipyate. So it won't stick to you if you have this right attitude. If you understand that I'm working for Krishna, I'm not greedily trying to work for myself. And Krishna says a similar thing in the Bhagavad Gita when he says, Brahmanyadaya karmani sangam tyakva karotya lipyate nasapapena padma patram ivambasa. If you have the right attitude when you're working in the world, you're doing it for service to Krishna, then you won't get touched, you won't get smeared by the three modes of material nature. It was a miracle practically, because we're in a physical body and we're working in the world, interacting with it in many different ways. So one should be careful in how one works with the material energy, and be careful to retain the right attitude. So that's a verse I thought I'd bring out, and then we'll take a few questions, and I have some other points that I've collected to share with you today from various places. Questions?
So dear devotees, you can unmute yourself. You have the privilege now. And
Let's see, there's some on the, there's some in the chat box.
yeah, there's some comments there.
Okay. Dipali says, please accept my humble obeisance. Hare Krishna. And Namrata, Hare Krishna. In the verse Tasyaiva Heto, the happiness that comes naturally, does that refer to material happiness? Yes. Is that the same as the gain that comes of its own accord in the verse Yadrichya labasantushto? Yeah, that is. Because in that sense, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says Yadrichya labasantushto dvandvatito vimatsara. He's talking about how to work in the world and be balanced, and yet that Yadrichya, it comes of its own accord, and be satisfied with that. You don't have to push too hard to get more than that. In fact, it's mentioned in the 7th canto that there are 3 ways grahastas should expect to get gain in their life. One is from the sky, comes from rain, because then you get grains, and all kinds of wondrous gifts come from the rain coming from the sky. And the others from the earth, which includes from the sea, from the ground, and from mines and things like that. You get all kinds of things. And the third one, it said, is antariksha, which means that it comes from outer space. It comes out of nowhere. And so this is Narada Muni teaching Yudhishthira in the 7th canto. And he said, so you should take those 3 places where you're getting gifts, and you should use those judiciously, and you should use them to nourish others, take care of other people. We were just reading today in the Bhagavatam, in the 8th canto, about how it is that, yeah, when you do, here, I'll look it up for you because it's a great verse. The verse is, which many of you probably already know already, Tapyante Lukatapena, Sarva Praisojana, Parama Aradanam Tadi Purushasya Kilatmana. Do you all know that verse? It's in the Lord Shiva Saves the Universe. Of course, you're on mute and I'm asking you questions. It's like being in the dentist chair and then the dental hygienist asks you all kind of questions and you can't say anything. Okay, I know mine does. 8:7:44. It is said that great personalities almost always accept voluntary suffering because of the suffering of people in general. This is considered the highest method of worshiping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is present in everyone's heart. He's also the president in everyone's heart. Here is an explanation of how those engaged in activities for the welfare of others are quickly recognized by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 18:68 and 69, Ya idam paramam kuyam mad bhakteshva vidasiti nachatasman manusheshu kashyan me priyakritama. One who preaches the message of Bhagavad Gita to my devotees is most dear to me. No one can excel him in satisfying me by worship. There are different kinds. This is what the point I wanted to bring to you. There are different kinds of welfare activities in this material world. But the supreme welfare activity is the spreading of Krishna consciousness. Other welfare activities cannot be effective for the law. This is the part I really like. Other welfare activities cannot be effective for the laws of nature and the results of karma cannot be checked. It is by destiny or the laws of karma that one must suffer or enjoy. For instance, if one is given a court order, he must accept it, whether it brings suffering or profit. Similarly, everyone is under obligations to karma and its reactions. No one can change this. Therefore, the Shastra says, Tasyaiva heto prayateta kovido, na labyate yad brahmatam upariyada. One should endeavor for that which is never obtained by wandering up and down the universe as a result of the reactions of karma. What is that? One should endeavor to become Krishna conscious. If one tries to spread Krishna consciousness all over the world, he should be understood to be performing the best welfare activity. The Lord is automatically very pleased with him. Now's when you can start smiling. If the Lord is pleased with him, what is left for him to achieve? If one has been recognized by the Lord, even if he does not ask the Lord for anything, the Lord who is within everyone supplies him whatever he wants. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam mahamyaham. Again, as stated here, tapyante lokatapena sarava prayashojana. The best welfare activity is raising people to the platform of Krishna consciousness, since the conditioned souls are suffering only for want of Krishna consciousness. The Lord himself also comes to mitigate the suffering of humanity. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutanam dharmasya tatatmanam srajamyaham paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chajushkritam dharma samstapanartaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharat, and a predominant rise of your religion, at that time I descend myself. To deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to reestablish the principles of religion, I invent myself millennium after millennium. All the Shastras conclude, therefore, that spreading the Krishna conscious movement is the best welfare activity in the world. Because of the ultimate benefit this bestows upon people in general, the Lord very quickly recognizes such service performed by a devotee. So it's superfluous. You try to help the people's bodies because they're already going to get what they get, basically. Therefore, putting one's energy into helping people to come to full knowledge. The disease is avidya. In fact, the last few years when I was in the San Francisco airport and I was distributing books there, I would tell people that we're doing a drive to help people all over the world who are suffering from a serious disease called avidya. And and then I say, which means ignorance. And it's a very serious situation. People go, yeah, that's very serious. So that's the most serious problem. That is the only serious problem, because other than that, the soul has no problem except for misidentification with matter. And now let's see, where were we? Yes. Okay. What else do you have there? Anything on
There are a
Facebook?
couple of comments there on Facebook. Then no questions. And so there's Sai Lakshmi Mataji. So she said that she has 2 comments. The first one is that this is my first time listening to the Nadia Nagare song. So beautiful. It took me in the middle of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda's Sankirtan. What a treat on this special day.
That's so nice. The first time I heard it was in 1975 on Gaur Purnima in Mayapur.
Wow.
It was sung by a Swami who was very into finding all kinds of obscure songs that nobody else in ISKCON knew. And we recorded it and we took it home. And after all these years, we've been able to sing it. Thank you, Sai Lakshmi. That was nice. What else?
And her second comment is, yes, let's not spend our time redecorating the hotel room to try and fit us perfectly.
Well done. Well done. Sadhu, sadhu.
It's a waste of time, she says.
Yeah, that's a good image, redecorating the hotel room. You check into a hotel room and then you start calling and redecorating.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, what else?
There's a question from Bhakta Nilesh.
Really?
He's sending a
Now,
back.
which Bhakti Nilesh is this?
Bhakta Nilesh, our ISV's Bhakta Nilesh.
Well, the other day I said something, Bhakti Nilesh took some books down to Monterey, and then Nilesh wrote back, and that was the other Nilesh. Are there 2 Nileshes running around ISV or what?
Not to my knowledge. Does anybody know?
Well, there is.
Is there
Now
another
you
Nilesh?
know there is 2 Nileshes.
Nilesh? Okay.
Okay. Well, go ahead, Sal, tell us. Who was that, Avantika?
So Nilesh is saying that, sorry, Avantika, are you saying something?
No, I was saying the other Nilesh is the one who got initiated recently by Jayapataka Swami. He is now Nilamani Krishna Das.
Yeah, well, so everyone should stop calling him Nilesh then. All right, so this is from our Bhakti Nilesh. Okay,
Yeah,
go ahead.
yeah, because he put his last name, Nilesh Baghela, so there's no...
That'll help.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Maharaj, he's looking for the $100 because he's sending a bad...
Let me check and see if it's still here. Okay, Nilesh, go ahead. We have the 100, only it's hard to get my drawer open. Go ahead. Let's see if you qualify.
This is a bad question. With what mood should we go to office? And should we work hard if this verse says, do not work hard?
No, that's a good question. I'm sorry, I can't give you the 100.
Sorry,
The
Nilesh.
mood that we should go to the office is mentioned by Prabhupada in the 18th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, and he's quoting the Acharyas, and he's saying, whatever worldly work you have to do, he said, you should think, this is work given to me by Krishna. And I'm going to do this work to maintain myself. And by the way, it's not illegal to maintain yourself. And the second part of the question was?
So with what mood should we go? There's only one question.
Yeah. Okay. So the question was that's the mood. And should you work hard? You should work hard enough so that you can maintain yourself, but don't overextend simply with this sense that I'm going to.
Without asking.
What?
Okay, if you're having a side conversation, please mute yourself.
Yeah, so let me, I'm going to read you a verse that I heard Prabhupada commenting on today. He was lecturing on this verse from the 5th canto. I think you'll like this very much. This is from Rishabhadeva. Prabhupada liked this verse very much. He used to quote it a lot. This is from the 5th canto, 5th chapter. And this, according to Prabhupada today, when he was speaking on it, is about household life. He started off by saying, renounced great, he said, great souls are not just sannyasis, they're also grihastas. And he said Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Lord Nityananda, most of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's associates were grihastas. And then he quoted this verse. This is 553. Yeva mayishe krita sauridharta janeshu deham varavartikeshu griheshu jaya majarati matsu na priti yukta yavarartascha loke. Those who are interested in reviving Krishna consciousness and increasing their love of Godhead do not like to do anything that is not related to Krishna. They're not interested in mingling with people who are busy maintaining their bodies, eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. They are not attached to their homes, although they may be householders, nor are they attached to wives, children, friends, or wealth. At the same time, they are not indifferent to the execution of their duties. Such people are interested in collecting only enough money to keep the body and soul together. Purport: whether he is an impersonalist or devotee, one who is actually interested in advancing spiritually should not mingle with those who are simply interested in maintaining the body by means of the so-called advancement of civilization. Those who are interested in spiritual life should not be attached to homely comforts in the company of wife, children, friends, and so forth. Even if one is a grihasta and has to learn his livelihood, he should be satisfied by collecting only enough money to maintain body and soul together. One should not have more than that, nor less than that. As indicated herein, a householder should endeavor to earn money for the execution of bhakti yoga, shravanam, kirtanam, vishnu, smaranam, pada sevanam, arshanam, vandanam, dasyam, sakyam, atma nivedanam. A householder should lead such a life that he gets full opportunity to hear and chant. He should worship the deity at home, observe festivals, invite friends in, and give them prasadam. A householder should earn money for this purpose, not for sense gratification. So no $100, Bhakti Nilesh. Good. I saw Radhakripa Prabhu smile. You were looking a little serious there for me tonight. Are you okay? Yes, he's okay.
Maharaj, Sadhu Vrindavan Das is trying to say
Sadhu
something.
Vrindavan. Let's bring him in. Bring in the sadhu from Vrindavan.
Hari Bol Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Sadhu. How come we can't see you?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
My video is on.
There's something, yeah. Come a little bit close to the microphone, Sadhu.
Hari Bol. Now can you hear me?
There you go.
Yes. Yeah, now we can hear you. You seem to be fading.
Just go ahead, Sadhu.
So I had this realization on the text 47 we just read. So I had this realization that Krishna's in the Srimad-Bhagavatam it says that in the karmis they work for the results, but when the results come, it's not that satisfying. And but the devotees they work for Krishna, and when the results come, it is satisfying for them. So I had a verse, Ananyas Chintayanto Mam Yejana Paripasate Tesham Nitya Abhiyuktanam Yogakshemam Bhahamyam. How the Lord says that He will, if a devotee prays to me, I will preserve what he has and give what he lacks. So you don't have to work to, work to get the results. If you just pray to Krishna, Krishna will give you everything that you need for your living. So I had that.
Did you tell that to your dad?
My dad is watching YouTube actually.
Yeah. You tell him he doesn't have to work anymore, eh?
Yeah.
Well, let's see what he says. Maybe you could call him up and ask him if that's okay. Here Prabhupada says, you can work, but don't work excessively and get so absorbed in it that you forget the goal of life. Don't work so hard that you, hey, Vraja. Don't work so hard that you don't have time to hear and chant. And otherwise, what's the use? What's the use of it? Have a balanced life so that you can while you're going through this period of life as grihastha, then you have to be able to keep the vibration going at a reasonable rate so that you don't just get absorbed in thinking about maintaining everything. Thank you very much. Any other reflections and questions?
Akshay Madha Prabhu has one after Antika.
No, you can go ahead.
No, I was just reading. You go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, so I have a comment and a question.
Okay.
So for my comment was, I was reading like last week, I think, in the Srimad-Bhagavatam second canto, and I found a verse that was like really similar to the one we were like started off class with today. It's the second canto, second chapter, third verse. Let me wait.
I'm bringing it up. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, these are some pretty intense verses because they're spoken by Shukadeva Goswami, who is a very renounced person. Go ahead.
So it says, for this reason, the enlightened person should endeavor only for the minimum necessities of life while in the world of names. He should be intelligently fixed and never endeavor for unwanted things, being competent to perceive practically that all endeavors are merely hard labor for nothing. So when I read this, like that last line really stuck with me. So that's why I like saved it. And it just reminded me of what we read today.
Nice. It's amazing how well these verses inform our intelligence, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's good.
And my question was, in the purport we just read, and like what you were mentioning earlier, was how the amount of happiness and distress in our lives have already been allotted to us.
Yeah.
I wanted to know if that included spiritual happiness, and if it did, like how should we have more motivation to like continue doing devotional service without losing hope that like the amount of happiness is predetermined for us?
Yeah, well, that doesn't include spiritual happiness. It's in a different category.
Okay.
The kind of happiness and distress that is being spoken about in these verses is about how we have karma built up from our last lives that determines how much we're going to get some kind of facility in the material world for the senses and how much it will be restricted. In the ultimate issue, they're all suffering for a person who has a higher perspective, because just engagement in the material world in the first place is like being in a prison. And whether you get a good cell or you get, a bad cell, you're still in prison one way or the other. But the spiritual happiness is something that you can work for with great vigor. In fact, it's mentioned in the Shastra that everybody's born into this world as a debtor, and you have to work hard to pay off your debt. There's so much karmic debt that we have that you can't pay it off in one lifetime. It's not possible, because it's been going on since a time immemorial. So it gets stored up, and then there's no end to it, actually. However, as it's mentioned in the Bhagavatam, Devarshi Bhutapna Nrinam Pitrinam na Kinkaronayam Nrni Charajan Sarvatmaraya Sharanam Sharanyam Gato Mukundam Parihrita Kartam. Debtor is called a rini. And so when we're born, we're already in debt. How do you like that? Not just for your future college fund, but for everything else. Devas, you owe to the devas. They're providing us all kinds of facilities. The rishis, they give us knowledge and instructions. Bhutatma, all kinds of living entities that have served us. Forefathers, your parents, we're debtors. But there's one person that totally opts out, and that is if you decide to take the path of surrender to Krishna. So it says, then if you just say, okay, I'm not going to serve myself, I'm going to serve Krishna, I'll work for him, I'll just become his devotee, then there's no more debt for such a person, no more karmic debt. And that is something that Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita very clearly at the end, right? What verse am I thinking of? When he says, I'll absolve you of all your debt if you just surrender unto me. Hey, don't tell her, she knows. Sarvadharman Parityaja Mame Kam Sharanam Braja Aham Tvang Sarva Papebhyo Mukshayishami Masucha. So there, Krishna's saying there, don't worry about anything. If you surrender unto me, I'll deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear, do not worry, do not hesitate. So the more you work for, spiritual advancement, you can do that unlimitedly, Narada says. In fact, it's a good idea. And he says, even if you try for that and you're not successful and you fall back, he said, it's still better than getting everything in the material world straight. Tekva Sudarmam Charanam Bujam Harer Bhajana Pakvota Patet Tato Yadi Yatra Kwa Babadram Ubuda Mushakim Kovarta Apto Bhajatam Sudarmata. If someone's a pakva, they're not ripe, but they try for spiritual life and they don't make it, better they tried than they got everything right in the material world, because that doesn't ultimately add up to anything. Thank you. Good question. Okay, now I have a few points I want to make and then get your opinion on them. Are you ready?
Yes.
Maharaj, I have one question, if it's fine.
Oh yeah, sure.
So yeah, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to you. So the question is, if happiness and distress is fixed, right? So what about the sins we make in this life? Like Mandavya Muni, right? He killed an ant, and then we know the story. So he got the distress in this life only, right? And so
Yeah, well, there's different phases of karma. As you know, there's aprarabdha palam papam kutam bijam palon mukam. So these are the different stages of karma mentioned in the Padma Purana, where you have aprarabdha. It's very subtle. It's not manifested yet. Palam papam. Then you have kutam. It's starting to manifest. Bijam, it becomes a seed, you can see, and then you have prarabdha. It produces a fruit. So we come into this lifetime with a ledger, but we can change the ledger. As Prabhupada mentions in the introduction to the Bhagavad Gita, of the different truths he's mentioning are listed in the Bhagavad Gita. Karma is not eternal. It can come to an end. So you can also create more karma in this very lifetime as well. So you have a certain amount of karma, and it doesn't mean that you can't act irresponsibly and make it worse for yourself. Just like somebody goes to jail and they have to pay their dues by spending 3 years in jail, they can go in jail and kill somebody, and then they'll put them in jail for 130 years and they'll never get out. So we're not dead stones. It's not some the point about destiny doesn't mean that we can't make adjustments. We can make adjustments. I mean, there's certain things that are destined, just like if you buy a ticket on an airline, which really not many people are doing right now. But if you get on the airplane and you're flying to Chicago, then once you get on, the flight takes off, you're going to Chicago, you already bought it. But while you're on the plane, you can make all kinds of arrangements, who you're going to meet when you get off. And, you can talk to people on the plane and make deals. You can even call from the plane. There's lots of things that you can do, because we have some free will to work within that. And if you really want to get out of the situation altogether, then you put your material life as only on maintenance. You maintain yourself so you can do service for Krishna, because you have to maintain. The body doesn't just cooperate that you just give up. Of course, even in the Bhagavatam, Narada Muni meets this sage, and the sage is very attractive. He's got auspicious features. So Narada starts to talk to him because he recognizes him as a great soul. And he notices that he's a little plump. And he just sits there. He doesn't move. And so Narada asked this obviously spiritually advanced person, what's your life? And he told that, previously I saw that people, they work hard for nothing and it's just suffering. And in the end, you lose it. He said, so I decided to opt out. So now he said, I took the life of a python. I only sit here and wait. And if something comes, I take it. If it doesn't, I don't take it. He said, how do you get so plump? And he said, well, things just come to me. Sometimes I eat, sometimes I don't eat, but it's just by destiny. So it's not, even there are examples of somebody, if you stop doing anything, I mean, like even in America, if you don't work, the government will take care of you. basically. In India, you don't work. You can just sit there with a little bowl on the corner and people will throw rupees in it. I've seen it at Govardhan and everywhere else. And people, you know, they live on the street. They live under a tree. A lot of times in these festivals, I see these people, they got, you know, a bag they carry around with them with a few pots in it, and that's it. They sit under a tree. During Kartik, they just sit there and basically do nothing, but they're eating fine. Everybody, even the animals, are eating. So if you work a little bit and then you utilize your energy for Krishna consciousness, then you're a smart person. Is that okay, Krishna?
Yes, thank you so much, Maharaj.
Okay. Okay, here's a couple points. Did you have something else, Shraddha?
No, after your points, Maharaj. We have some things, but we'll take up after your
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So here are a few points I've taken from various places. One is, these are for your consideration, okay? One is that a tiny fish, Prabhupada writes, is more powerful than the elephant because the fish has taken shelter of the water. So I really like this analogy that a tiny fish is stronger than the elephant in the water. Like the current of the Ganga is so strong. If an elephant goes in, he'll be just pulled downstream really fast. And it's a dangerous situation, even for such a strong animal. But a tiny little fish, because he's adapted himself to the water, and as Prabhupada puts it here, he's surrendered to the water. Therefore, he can live in the water. Even a big wave can come, and he's not affected at all. Doesn't bother him. So the surrendered life, the surrendered attitude towards Krishna, is the way that we can live in this ocean of material existence without being affected by it. And like the smart little fish. So that's a thought. And I want to give you a couple more thoughts. Here's a definition of humility. Humility means the recognition that one's Shakti comes from Krishna. Humility means the recognition that one's Shakti or one's powers, whatever they may be, the power to be alive, the power to think and say smart things, the power to do some physical activity in a dexterous way. These are all Krishna Shaktis. So humility means to accept that and don't be puffed up about it. I was talking to a really nice devotee today in New York. His name's Kaustuba Prabhu, and we're exchanging some notes on these programs we're developing to take care of people once they buy books and things like that. And so Kaustuba is doing a program in New York. He does a Bhagavatam class every morning, and a lot of people are listening. He and Raghunath Prabhu do this every day. And he was saying he used very honestly and humbly, and it was just a realization. He said, it's not me. He said, most of these people on the call are smarter than me, better than me in every way. He said, I just have faith in the Bhagavatam. And I read Bhagavatam and you know, I'm representing Bhagavatam, and therefore the potency comes through. So we should always remember that whatever potency we have in devotional service, in material life, it's all Krishna Shakti. And if we remember that, that's humility. And one more, the third thing to consider, and I'll take some reflections. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, inconveniences in my service to my guru are my greatest happiness in life. Inconveniences in my service to my guru are my greatest happiness in life. So let's have a few reflections of anything of those 3 points, or any questions.
So there were questions from your previous narration, Maharaj.
Okay, go ahead.
Can we pick them up? Okay. So there's a request from Vamsuli Prabhu, and he's saying that if you can kindly comment on the shloka, Kurvan Nirantaram Karma, Lokoyam Anubandhanat, Teneva Karmanadhyayam, Mam Param Bhaktim Vichati.
Could you say the verse again, please?
Okay, sorry. Kurvan Nirantaram Karma, Lokoyam Anubandhanat.
Yes. Kurvan Nirantaram Karma, Lokoyam Karma Bandhana. So this verse is from the Brahma Samhita, And the verse is saying, Kurvan nirantaram karma, that human beings are always doing something. You can't stop. Kurvan nirantaram karma, loko yam anuvartate, tenaiva karmana dhyayam mamparam bhaktimichati. So if you're, because in human society you have to do something. You're always going to have to work. Humans are always on the move. You should dedicate your activities to me, Krishna is saying. These are instructions he's giving to Brahma, the Brahma Samhita here. It's a nice verse. Kurvan nirantaram karma loko yamadavartate tenaiva karmana dhyayam mamparam bhaktimichati. So kurvan means performing nirantaram, ceaselessly, karma, activities. So that means we're always doing something. The people of the world, loka aya means the people of the world, anuvartate, pursue, tena, by those, eva, indeed, karmana, dhyayan, meditating on me, mam. So he says, the people of the world act ceaselessly in pursuance of some ideal. By meditating on me, by means of those deeds, one will obtain devotion characterized by love in the shape of the supreme service. So it means to dovetail everything with Krishna. So if you're working in the world, then do your work for Krishna. As Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, that yat karoshi yadashnashi, yat johasi dadasyat, yat tapasyasti kuntayat, tat kurushva mararpanam. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer and give away should be done as an offering unto me. This is thinking of Krishna whatever way you can. Yena tena prakaryena mana Krishna niveshayat. Rupa Goswami gives this verse that one way or another, you should try to fix your mind on Krishna. Yena tena, whatever way you can. So, even demons, I was studying this verse today from the Srimad-Bhagavatam. Kama dvesha bayat snehad yata bhaktishvari mana avesha taragam hidva bhavas tadgatim gata. Many persons have attained liberation simply by thinking of Krishna with great attention and giving up sinful activities. This great attention may be due to lusty desires, inimical feelings, fear, affection, or devotional service. So if you're going to have to work anyway, and you are, and human society is moving on and on, if you meditate on Krishna somehow or other through your work, by giving some of the fruit of the work to Krishna, or working directly for Krishna, all these ways in which you can fix your mind on him, then you're not being carried away by karma. You'll actually develop love for Krishna, and you'll go back to Godhead. Okay, another question, please.
Whereas there are questions on the chat, on the Zoom chat, on one from
I'll get it.
Nambini, one from Shukeshwari.
Okay.
Do you want me to read or you?
No, I'll get it.
Okay.
Hey, look, there's Divyangi.
Yeah, she had an observation.
I like the point about happiness is even worse than misery, because it binds us more to this material world. Now, you got to be a real sadhvi to like that. I have small reflection about how it is nice to have our spiritual practice and whether there's mystery or happiness. It's nice to go back to Krishna all the time. And it is nice to hear the real happiness is Krishna and hear about Krishna. Yeah, you got it. You got it. Okay, from Pixel to everyone. That's Dhanavari.
That's Dhanavari.
That's our very own Dhanavari. I like avidya, ignorance. No, you don't. When I was in elementary school in India, the quote was written on the wall saying, Sa vidya ya muktye. Try to get that kind of vidya that liberates you. Yeah. The Sri Upanishad is saying, Vidyam cha yas tadvedo bayam saha avidyayam ritum chitva vidyayam ritum ashnade. Can you please elaborate on the last point, inconveniences in my service to Guru? Well, yes. The fact is, And I hate to tell you this. I don't know if I'm the first one to break this to you. So please brace yourself. Are you still there? There you are. I said, the material world is a very inconvenient place. And, you know, it's funny because it comes with warning labels on it all over the place. But I just drive right past those and go, that's all right. It's just like Chitraketu. He wanted a son so much that when Angira came to his kingdom, mystic powers, he could give anything and he could bestow, you know, spiritual realization, but Chitraketu couldn't hear it. He didn't ask him anything substantial. He said, you know, I want a son. I mean, of course, in the material world for a king, that's the biggest thing you can have. But then Angira told him that, yes, you can get a son, but he'll be named Harshashoka, cause of lamentation. There'll be some happiness too, but mostly lamentation. And Chitraketu said, no problem. I can handle it. Problem is we can't handle it. You know, it's not for us. This material world is really dull. The spiritual world is full of happiness. It's full of light. It's full of good-mannered people. There's no stupid politicians saying stupid things all the time. There's no ignorant people who follow them. There's not, I mean, there are no anomalies in the spiritual world. It's all bliss. And people are very upright, truthful, happy. There's no inconveniences, and the power of the soul is unimaginable. Even these mystic powers that are talked about in the Bhagavatam by Krishna, he says how yogis can get mystic powers. Patanjali talks about it. It's in the third part of his book, you know, how you develop mystic powers. And it's a technology that's available to us, but it's nothing compared to when somebody's liberated in spiritual life. So the fact that we come into a human body, we're like a kind of those caterpillars. You know, we're expected to suffer a little bit to break out into our real life as a butterfly. That's a famous metaphor, you know. And so we're going to suffer anyway. We're going to suffer anyway. So you might as well suffer for a good cause. And if you can hook yourself on to a good, I mean, there's a lot of good causes. Drew said this once at Rath Yatra when he was speaking at the question and answer booth, and I really liked it. I've used it ever since. There are many good causes, but there's only one great cause. And that's the, you know, going back to Godhead at any cost, whatever it takes. So if you hook yourself on to a spiritual master who's got some service, and then you can say, here, I'll help out. And then you know, it's difficult, just like it is working in the corporate world. Maybe even more difficult, who knows? But that difficulty is so purifying, and the camaraderie you develop with the devotees who admire you for, you know, sticking with it. You know, look at Prabhupada. He came and he suffered for his spiritual master. I just heard him the other morning. He was talking to this, it was early on in New York City, and he was talking to some lady who was mildly intelligent, you know, and she was asking questions and stuff like that, but it sounded like she was maybe the only one there. And Prabhupada was taking the time to explain everything to her. And then Prabhupada said, you know, he said, I'm always thinking of Vrindavan. He said, Vrindavan is my home. He said, I didn't want to come to New York. He said, I don't like New York. He said, I like Vrindavan. That's where I'm. He said, but I came here for my spiritual master. And he said, you see, this is my duty. And Prabhupada lived like that. So this human life is meant for sacrifice. And if you can sacrifice it for a spiritual cause by being lined up in disciplic succession and getting some service, and then performing that and taking the trouble it takes to do it, then basically, you know, you're set. And so when the suffering comes to a devotee who's lined up and doing service, it's not like, oh, I quit. You know, when it gets hard, I quit. I don't like this. That's in the mode of passion. This is Krishna says in the 18th chapter of the Gita that if you give up your duty because it's inconvenient, the duty seems inconvenient for you. That's a renunciation in the mode of passion, and you won't get the result of the renunciation. So the best lineup is you line up spiritually in your duties, and you go through whatever it takes. And if there are inconveniences, there's suffering in that, you're getting really purified. And it's something that Krishna never forgets, that you took the trouble to help out in his movement. And it doesn't, you just find a little niche and you hold on. And it's amazing how that niche will grow. It can be the smallest of services, but if you hold on to it, you'll become famous for doing something and sticking to it, despite the fact that it was difficult. Does that help? Hare Krishna. Okay, let's see. What else? Shukeshwari's here. What does it really mean? Inconveniences is a blessing. Well, there it was. You both wrote in at the same time. Here's Malini. All the stars are here tonight. Let's see. Thank you for such a wonderful class. I really like the point you made that real humility means to recognize that your bhakti comes from Krishna. It is such a simple yet profound realization. When you meet devotees who really know that, they're so powerful because they become perfect channels for Krishna's mercy. The minute I put my ego in it, I think I'm so, great. I'm so smart. I'm so powerful. This is odious. You can look the word up. It's really nice. Odious. It's odious. But if you become humble, if you see someone who's actually humble and they recognize any shaktis coming from Krishna, they're so powerful, but they know it's not me. It's coming from Krishna. That's humility, and that's attractive. It attracts even Krishna.
Odious is repulsive, Maharaj.
Pardon me?
Odious is extremely repulsive, extremely unpleasant and repulsive.
It's extremely repulsive. And it's just like, if you're in Mangalartik and someone ate a garlic pizza the night before and then walks in, you can smell it. And the same way, you can smell when somebody's, got that thing that, it's me, I'm doing this, I'm so cool. Even if it's in devotional service, it's like, could you tone it down a little bit? It's odious. Okay, go ahead. What else?
Guru Maharaj, may I ask a question?
Yes, Manjula Kanda. Finally, a live question.
Guru Maharaj,
And I still have the $100.
Guru Maharaj, I was thinking
8 minutes to go. This could be it. All right, go ahead.
I was thinking a lot about the aham mameti, this need to always have me in mind. And I was thinking about this concept of, in the sense that I felt, I wanted this little bit of space just for me. I don't need like my house, my car, I own this. But then every human being has a minimal amount of me in mind that they need. Like my own personal space, don't we say that? And I want my
Does this have to do with the lockdown now?
No, I'm trying to understand. Is that okay with me in mind when you say?
Yes, it's perfectly okay. If you need a palace because you're a king, kings, they're kshatriyas. They have a certain nature. They need a palace to sit in. Otherwise, they feel a little uncomfortable. And other people, Brahmana type people, they don't like that stuff. They want like a simple thing with like a little thatched roof thing with no amenities, just stay, because they're in a different mode of nature. So everyone's born into a different mode of nature, different mixtures of modes, and those have to be accommodated. And see, if you don't accommodate them, here, let me read you a purport. May I?
Yes, ma'am.
Permission? Okay. I think you've heard it before, but you'll be delighted to hear it again if I can find it this time. I was looking up for somebody the other night and I couldn't find it. Here you go. Okay, this is from 8/2/30. You ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, keep your ears wide open and hear directly from Prabhupada. Thereafter, because of being pulled into the water and fighting for many long years, the elephant became diminished in his mental, physical, and sensual strength. The crocodile, on the contrary, being an animal of the water, increased in enthusiasm, physical strength, and sensual power. Purport: in the fighting between the elephant and the crocodile, the difference was that although the elephant was extremely powerful, he was in a foreign place in the water. During 1,000 years of fighting, he could not get any food, and under the circumstances, his bodily strength diminished, And because his bodily strength diminished, his mind also became weak and his senses less powerful. The crocodile, however, being an animal of the water, had no difficulties. He was getting food and was therefore getting mental strength and sensual encouragement. Sensual encouragement. Thus, while the elephant became reduced in strength, the crocodile became more and more powerful. Now, from this, we may take the lesson that in our fight with Maya, we should not be in a position in which our strength, enthusiasm, and senses will be unable to fight vigorously. Our Krishna consciousness movement has actually declared war against the illusory energy in which all the living entities are rotting in a false understanding of civilization. The soldiers in this Krishna consciousness movement must always possess physical strength, enthusiasm, and sensual power. To keep themselves fit, they must therefore place themselves in a normal condition of life. What constitutes a normal condition will not be the same for everyone, and therefore there are divisions of varnashrama, brahmana, kshatriya, vaishya, shudra, brahmacharya, grahastha, vanaprastha, and sannyas. Especially in this age, Kali Yuga, it is advised that no one takes sannyas. Ashvamedham galavambam sannyasam palapatrikam devarina sutupatim kalo pancha vivarjayat. From this, we can understand that in this age, the sannyas ashrama is forbidden because people are not strong. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed us an example in taking sannyas at the age of 24 years, but even Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya advised Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to be extremely careful because he had taken sannyas at an early age. For preaching, we give young boys sannyas, but actually it is being experienced that they are not fit for sannyas. There's no harm, however, if one thinks that he is unfit for sannyas. If he is very much agitated sexually, he should go to the ashram where sex is allowed, namely the grahastha ashrama. That one has been found to be very weak in one place does not mean that he should stop fighting the crocodile of Maya. One should take shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna, as we shall see Gajendra do, and at the same time, one can be a grahastha if he is satisfied with sexual indulgence. There is no need to give up the fight. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu therefore recommended stane stita shrutigatam tanduvan manobi. One must stay in whatever ashram is suitable for him. It is not essential that one take sannyas. If one is sexually agitated, he can enter the grahastha ashram. But one must continue fighting. For one who is not in a tranquil position, to take sannyas artificially is not a great credit. If sannyas is not suitable, one may enter the grahastha ashram and fight Maya with great strength, but one should not give up the fighting and go away. So the really pertinent section for your question is here, in which you said, Hare Krishna, the soldiers of this Krishna consciousness movement must always possess physical strength, enthusiasm, and sensual power. To keep themselves fit, they must therefore place themselves in a normal condition of life. So it's important. When the Bhagavatam says, Kamasya nendriya pritir labo jivete yavata, it's never saying anything impractical that you should, just give up everything and do something unnatural. It's a very commonsensical process. Take care of the body in such a way that you can be strong. And some people get stronger by renunciation. Some people, they need some kind of, special arrangement so that they can be enthusiastic. And so that's what counts.
I really like the part where you said that just because a person is not strong in one part doesn't mean that he's not, he can't fight the fight.
Is right. Yeah. Papa allowed people to, move that they didn't get along one place, go somewhere else, this and that. Not encouragement to just whimsically walk away if things aren't going the way you want. That's also trouble. We talked about that already.
Yeah.
But I've seen, a sports team, sometimes somebody's lagging and then they trade him and becomes a superstar, on another team. Everyone fits somewhere. So try to fit in. The material world's not a perfect fit. It's hard to find anything. So Prabhupada says you have to be inventive. You have to, and when it comes to livelihood, be inventive. Find some place to get yourself through. I always appreciated Rajendra Nandana Prabhu. You know, as long as I've known him, he always did some kind of inventive thing. Like, what are you doing now? I'm selling this or that. You know, it's just to pay the bills. He didn't waste too much time, you know, trying to become, you know, like Mr. Successful in the material world, but he's Mr. Successful in the spiritual world, and he's maintained himself fine, just selling this or that, you know? So there you have it. Thank you for your question. And no $100. I'm very sorry. Okay. Well, we've come to the end of our time, and I'm just looking through the names up here, and boy, do we have some wonderful devotees. Let's have a little kirtan to end, and keep thinking of Krishna. It's so important to remember Krishna. When you wake up in the morning, say this verse, Jayati Janandi Vaso Devaki Janmavado Yaduvara Parishat Swarador Virasana Dharmam Stira Chara Vijina Nasusmita Shri Mukena Vrajapuna Varitanam Kamadevam. And remember Krishna as a person. And he's the most beautiful. I mean, anyone who saw Krishna, some who saw Krishna, they were just so stunned. They couldn't stop looking at him. And you know, when Krishna would play his flute, the Jamuna would stop flowing or go backwards. Birds would stop in the air, midair. They just stop. They were flying and they'd stop. The whole world becomes stunned by his flute. So he's all attractive. And one way or another, Mana Krishna Deveshayat, fix your mind on Krishna, read his instructions from Bhagavad Gita, and remember him by saying his names. That's the most sweet process in the whole universe that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave us. You're directly saying Krishna's name. There's nothing that isn't all fruit. You know, it's perfect, the Maha Mantra. And if you say it and just remember, and when the mind goes away somewhere else, just say, come back to Krishna and listen to these names. This is the process of bhakti, and you'll be so successful by this process. And just remember Krishna and depend on Krishna, and then offer respectful obeisances to all living entities, remembering Krishna is within the heart of every soul, every body. And by that humility, then Krishna becomes very pleased. That's all there in the 11th canto in the section on bhakti. Isn't it? Let's ask... yeah, isn't it there in the 11th canto? Do you remember on the section of bhakti? Ananda Murari, do you remember? When we were in Govardhan, we read that section. Is he there?
Yeah, he's there. I just need to unmute him. Yeah, just give me a second here. Anand Murari, please go ahead, unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Ananda Murari, were you there that year we read from the 11th canto about bhakti?
I wasn't there, but Mukharvin just said, yes, he said, yes, it was there.
He was there?
Yeah, Mukharvin. I wasn't there for 11th canto. I was there for 10th canto and Krishna book.
So say one thing you remembered from our reading in Govardhan.
I remember that Srila Prabhupada writes in Krishna book that there is always an opportunity for devotional service. Oh, but there's actually another thing that I remembered.
I knew you were going to remember this. Has to do with
names.
decorations of the bodies of the cowherd boys, right?
No, I was thinking the names, the sequence of names.
Oh, that one too.
Yeah.
Okay, you have to look those up and then bring them back to us.
Okay, I'll look them up.
Yeah, those are good times. Just hearing Bhagavatam, it's all cream.
And I was thinking one thing right before you lead kirtan. It was you're causing me to remember from Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Sharanagati. He sings Seva Sukha Dukkha Parama Sampada Naishe Avijaduka. That in your devotional service, I encounter happiness, I encounter distress, and all of these things are my greatest treasures, because Nashe Avijaduka, they destroy the suffering of ignorance. So I was just remembering that.
That's beautiful. Thank you for bringing that out. And you know, Mukaravinda, I think you were saying, he'll remember that time we read about bhakti, and it was the thinnest section in the 11th canto, and it said a Vaishnava should bow to even a dog. And the next morning we all went out on the Govardhan Parikrama, and we were like about 2 hours in, and we got to we were to Uddhavakund. The sun was just coming up, and yeah, it's beautiful. And then there was this dog right in front of the temple rolling on his back in the dust. So all spontaneously, we just offered our obeisances to the dog. And he flipped over and he looked at us. And he said, well, the look on his face was priceless. He looked at us like, what? No one's ever done that before. And we were remembering how Krishna makes bhakti so simple. Be humble, offer respects to all living entities. Remember that I'm there in the heart. Thanks, Ananda. It's so good to see you. Hare Krishna.
And Namrata has given us the verse number for that. The one that
Really?
Yeah, 11:29:16.
Extra points for that. Disregarding the ridicule of one's companions, one should give up bodily conception and its accompanying embarrassment. One should offer obeisances before all, even the dogs, outcasts, cows, and asses falling flat upon the ground like a rod. That's bhakti. That's the system of bhakti that he mentions in the 11th canto. Gaur Prevarande Haribo Namao Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale. Can I unmute everybody? Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namaste Bhakti Devi Gaurabhani Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Pode banda na frente, mas pode ser.
Can everyone please say Hare Krishna?
Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare 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 Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Okay, Hare Krishna, dear devotees. We're going to end the conference now. Hari Bol and